to a Lost in the Groove podcast, the Shin Dig Variety Show.
A podcast about society, culture, and discussing topics that we deal with now and the changes that are coming.
So with that, let's start today's topic.
Mike, take it away, man.
So we came across this story and we were just talking about it, Dave and I. It's been discovered that an Afghan militant was recently determined to be innocent, and he's been held in Guantanamo Bay. It's the first such ruling in 10 years. And it's so crazy. This whole thing started 20 years ago. And, you know,
21.
I mean, yeah, in general, I mean, it's been over 2 decades now. And to hear such a story, it isn't necessarily shocking, but it kind of goes to show how organized we are in our government agencies. We shoot first, we ask questions later, and sometimes we don't ask questions at all, and you disappear in the system for 20 years in this instance. So go ahead, Dave. Let's hear a little more about this article here.
So I did send it to you where there was a picture of him and his brother. And if anyone's curious as what's this whole thing with Guantanamo Bay is when 9/11 happened. When 9/11 hit and the Homeland Security was being developed and TSA, they started arresting a lot of militants that had affiliation with different groups that were here in the United States. And like you mentioned, like there was no questions. There was like, all right, you're going to Guantanamo Bay in Cuba. Like that's it. But what did I do? You're just going. It's miraculous that this person got out, you know, because it came to a point like it was ruled that he didn't do anything. So why is he still in this prison?
You know, what's funny is that Guantanamo was supposed to be closed down. This happened some years ago. It was supposed to be shut down officially, I think, during Obama's last few years. So I guess they're still trying to like figure out the in-between stuff, all the details, the people who had been held there, why. They're beginning to ask questions now, way after the fact, and we wonder why the world hates us sometimes. But they love our culture. They hate our government, but they love our culture.
Here's the strangest thing. Okay, we banned Cuba, banned it from all of our connections to how we relate to Cuba. Like Cuba is dead to America, but where is America's most secretive prison located?
In Cuba.
You know, it kind of like you say to yourself, I don't understand this. So we're not allowed to have anything to do with Cuba, but you can steal their land and put a prison on there, and that's perfectly fine. That's okay.
I would say a bigger question is how is it the Cuban government allowed that? Well, what did we give them in return? Because we would think, why Cuba? Well, it's outside of government jurisdictions within a country that has been designated as we're not touching them, we're not dealing with them whatsoever. And so in a similar sense, what goes on there, no one can really prosecute. At least that's kind of the first thought that comes to my mind is what, we should do if we're going to get away with shit that is illegal, whether it's torture or any other kind of fucked up thing that goes on during war. I would imagine you would want to do it in a country where no one's going to question you. No one has authority.
I'm just curious. I'm curious to know what's going on in his brother's head, because here you have a guy that his brother is being held somewhere for no reason, right? What can he do? And for him to finally realize, like, this is reality, he's never going to see his brother again. and now he can see his brother. It's completely changed his world. Now he has that opportunity to see him again. I wonder what was going through his mind when he heard that his brother was going to be released.
I mean, probably gratitude, maybe a feeling of relief. This is such an old case. I mean, like, what is this? What is this quote here? This is a landmark victory for the rule of law and a much needed reminder to the U.S. government that there are limits on what it may do in the name of national security. But I mean, at the same time, it's the same question for me. Like, of course, we would send them off. And anything that happens outside of our borders, there isn't a lot of oversight. So this guy's just been sitting there. His family, his brother probably thought he was dead, right? Like, wouldn't you probably come to the same conclusion if you had a family member who had just been taken away, haven't seen him in 10 years?
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah, for sure.
Easy, right? You would say, like, yeah, he's probably dead. They tortured him and then he's dead, but to find out that he's been alive and now he's allowed to leave and go back home, and this is a judgment from the courts. So it is pretty huge, just based on what the quote is saying in this article. It's never happened before, and it's definitely a victory for those who had been detained illegally. I mean, if you're go ahead.
Yeah, I just saw this earlier today with the Biden administration. That we're going into another war in another country.
Which one this time?
Taiwan.
Oh yeah, but that's been heating up for a while.
I get that, but it's pathetic. It's like we realize we shouldn't get involved with foreign countries after the whole thing that went on in Afghanistan. And what are we doing? We're doing the same scenario all over again. I'm just like, leave fucking Taiwan alone.
I mean,
leave them alone.
I would say the same to China. Leave them alone. But China feels that
I'm sorry, I don't give two shits. You know what? Taiwan is they've been around. They could take care of themselves. They have for a large portion of history.
Well, let me tell you the bigger difference here of like why this has a huge there's a huge difference between the two. Like, we have partnerships with Taiwan in the sense that they know that we will protect them, and they also have very similar mutual interests and agreements with us. We didn't have any such thing with Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, any parts of Africa where we are still at war, silent wars that are going on that people don't know about. There are no such agreements. These countries don't have a pact with the US, but Taiwan does. Like, something happened to Japan, let's say, we have their back. But with Afghanistan and Iraq, those were different stories. The narratives were totally different about wanting to go in and occupy. Believe it or not, I was watching Saddam Hussein's trial just for the fuck of it.
Trial? They came into his house and fucking murdered him. There was no trial. No,
there was a trial. You're thinking of Osama bin Laden.
Oh, you're talking about wait.
Saddam Hussein was
Saddam Hussein. Yeah, the guy from Iran? No. Iraq, sorry.
Yes. I mean, he wasn't perfect by any means, but nobody really is, whether they're in a presidential position or a dictator position, whatever it may be. But the same could be said about Gaddafi too. They're not perfect leaders, but they did hold a lot of control in their regions that no one would fuck around, not even terrorism. They would not fuck around. No one would dare, use Iraq as a hub for terrorism activity, because they knew what would happen to them and their families by Saddam Hussein, who was in power. But I was just watching the trial. I was just for the fuck of it, just curious of, kind of a refresher. And it goes to show that the narratives that were behind that were so far different, and none of it added up. With Taiwan, it's different, and I think with having China being the aggressor, it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder: is it all theater? We have partnerships with China. They have partnerships with us. Our country.
I mean, it is theater, and it's the same story with this story from Guantanamo Bay. This is all, a Broadway musical. It is. It's all bogus fiction and malarkey that's just there for pure reasons of who can shake their fist more. I could shake my fist, we're America. I'm going to beat you up, China. You know what? You fucking babies. Seriously, sit down, fucking shut up for once in your goddamn pathetic life, okay? Instead of just causing constant turmoil. We caused the issue in China, okay, with this whole problem in regards to taxes and imports of them doing all these kind of scandals. We rushed into their market and we're like, you know what? Fuck America. We don't want to make any of our industries here anymore. We caused this, right?
Yep.
And we're like, no, it's China's fault. No, it's not. It's your fucking fault too. Admit it. You did this.
It's our politicians who sold us out. I mean, you know what's funny? I was watching an interview with Mel Gibson from like the late 80s. And it's so weird because he was talking about the same problem Australia was having in the late 80s. So Australia used to be a manufacturer and distributor of steel. Well, their steel industry started kind of outsourcing China in the late 80s. And then it progressed so far that it completely collapsed their industry within their country of Australia. To hear Mel Gibson talk about this in the late 80s was really kind of, what the fuck is this guy talking about? But he knew. It's the politicians and the corporations. I mean, it's in a lot of ways it's our fault too, right? You like buying Apple products because you like the service and the products, but
I don't like what they do in Foxconn. I think it's disgusting.
Yeah, but the same would be said about any other company, right? People buy Nikes, they pay those high prices, but they don't question how these things are being made. Well, the people at the top within these companies don't really give two fucks. Their whole thing is about making money. And you know why China is a great place to manufacture? What do you think? Why do you think China is a great place to manufacture?
Lots of people.
Incredibly cheap labor, but also the type of government that's there. I believe, companies of this size, that's a huge benefit to them. They're like, wait a minute, we can get cheap labor out of this country, and their government is so powerful in the censorship that it guarantees us massive profits, and we don't have to get involved at all. Like, they can govern their own people, and then we can use that as a guise because we have no morals whatsoever. and be like, hey, it's their country, they can do whatever they want, but we are going to benefit massively by the way they govern. I mean, this is what I understand from it, and maybe there's more. Maybe I'm wrong about a few things, but if I was a CEO, these are the benefits I would be looking at. Is you're saying I can get away with murder and profit from it too, and none of it comes back to me ever? Then yeah, kill them all.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? There's so many different terms and so many different ways of spinning of this. Of course, we want to hear you guys' opinions and what you want to say. Leave us a comment below. For anyone that wants to know, we love our haters. Fucking love our haters. But we have reached the end of the broadcasting time limit. So
with that, thank you guys for watching. As always, we appreciate you.
Oh.
Oh.
But please make sure to like and subscribe, because I mean, this helps feed the algorithm and also helps our channel and the Lost in the Groove family,
which is you guys. I can't wait to see you guys again. Dave and I really love doing this show week after week. So we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.